When we get older, when we start growing up, when we start getting more mature, we realize that one of the expressions of love is that we give. We like to give. God loved the world so much that He gave His one and only Son, so that whosoever believes in Him will not be lost, but have eternal life. Christmas is the beginning of God fixing what's wrong between Him and us. Now, if you've studied the Old Testament, you know that this has been talked about for thousands and thousands of years before it happened. And in the Old Testament, there is a ridiculous amount of detail given on how this is going to happen. So it's hard for me to understand why people were surprised or they didn't notice it. But God gave what was needed for us to be in a relationship with Him, for us to be with Him the way that we were supposed to be all the time. Now, another thing I find interesting is how many people know John 3:16 and how few people have ever read John 3:17. Because the very next verse, which is simply completing this thought, says, God did not send His Son into the world to judge the world. Oh, you better watch it. God's ticked off. That's why we had that earthquake this morning. Was anybody else awake for the earthquake this morning? I imagine that it was a 2.6 on the Richter scale. I had to decide whether it was an earthquake or whether it was my stomach telling me I needed to eat breakfast. Have you ever heard that natural disasters are God expressing His anger? I don't know that I want to say it this way, but that's the stupidest thing that I've ever heard. The Bible's very clear about this. God is judging the world. God didn't send His Son into the world to judge the world guilty, but to save the world. God's not here to make us pay. He's here to save us. The Christmas story is the beginning of God saving the people that He created from what we did.